All right, you guys, it has been far too long since we've had another update video. So today is going to be another long kind of like rant style video. So grab a snack, have a seat. And if you guys aren't really into that or you just want the too long, didn't watch version, it can be boiled down into three things basically. One, we've got Vital Pet updates. We are going to stick to FDM 3D printing instead of injection molding because of complications and delays, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. Thing number two is my website is going to be live at the time of recording this, and there are places where you can get more stock updates, and we'll talk about kind of the changes to my shop. And then thing number three, I am officially a business now. I am a legal entity, so Veek Designs is a legal business, and that means that there are going to be some changes that I want to disclose with you guys kind of moving forward. So with all that out of the way, let's get into the big thing first, and that is the Vital Pet, it's upside down, but the Vital Pet and updates with it and what's going on. At the time of recording this, my Kickstarter update should already be live, so if you've already read that, you kind of have an idea of what's going on. Or if you've followed me on Twitch or kind of have like seen the whole Twitch and Discord journey, you already kind of know what's happening. But for the uninitiated, basically, about a month ago, I said that we were going to switch to filament-based 3D printing for the Vital Pets. And at the time of the inception of the Vital Pet, this was a 3D printed part, right? Like the original one, the prototype that you guys see here is 3D printed. And along the way, I thought that I would be able to do injection molding because I saw an affordable option to do it. And it was within our reach financially to try to do that thing. And unfortunately, what I failed to realize is that just because the machine itself was in financial reach does not mean that we were going to face other obstacles. So I created the Kickstarter stating that it was going to be injection molded. Like I firmly thought at that time it was going to be feasible if we could acquire a machine. So we acquired and built the machine. And if you've seen the shenanigans that have happened on Twitch, things didn't really go that well with the molds. And I stated that we're going to go back to 3D printing, and some people weren't happy with that, understandably. And just like everything else, I'm fully transparent in what I do. So I've gave people the option, like, hey, if this is not what you were looking for, feel free to contact me or to contact my team or to request a refund or to offer feedback or criticism and what have you. I have been completely open about this whole process, and I understand that the vision has kind of shifted throughout time. Well, that initial response didn't really sit well with me. And people were pretty understanding. It wasn't even like a sour response or anything. But I wanted to push myself and I wanted to try new things, and I figured I would take an extra month to research this even further and to try new things. And upon doing so, I created several different molds. I tried various different resins. I've edited my molds. I've attended webinars. I've looked at old company notes. I've spoken to other engineers. I've done everything I possibly could to learn more about injection molding. And in the process of doing so, obviously my molds have changed as far as the construction of them and the way I add things like the runners and the gates and the air channels and things like that. And we were able to get semi-successful molds. And there's more about this in the Kickstarter description update. I'll have that down below. But we were able to get some molds of some parts. However, the parts would be burnt, or there would be flash, which is like excess material kind of running out, or in some cases the molds would literally explode due to pressure and clamping force. And while I would do my best to mitigate a lot of these things, I often found that the manual lever that was on this machine was too inconsistent for me to get regular pulls. The clamping force would often be too strong for such small molds like this, and even if I was able to get a part, I wouldn't be able to extract it easily or at all without damaging something, usually the part, or sometimes the part and the mold, because of the lack of ejector pins. And truthfully, my parts were not made with with injection molding in mind. They were made with 3D printing in mind. And I even went so far as to modify the parts themselves to add things like draft angles to create larger walls. And in an attempt to make this work, I even added like mold release and stuff. Nothing seemed to work out, and it was frustrating because when I was getting the parts, they were coming out, but they were coming out with polypropylene. It's a different material. We'll talk about that in a bit. But it gave me hope, and it made me realize that if I had a higher quality machine, if I had a machine with ejector pins and with like a feeder screw and a hopper and pneumatic channels, I would probably be able to do this pretty reliably and quite consistently. Unfortunately, those machines, not only are they several thousands of dollars, which is partially an issue, but those are also commercial machines that are usually made to order, which typically take anywhere from 20 to 50 weeks to get delivered. Now, it's something that I want to do, and perhaps the Vital Pet is not the project for this. However, it's something that I plan on doing and I want to pursue kind of moving forward, but it's something that I'm going to have to do kind of on my own leisure, because I don't think it's fair to customers and backers of this project, people who want this thing, to have to wait effectively up to half of a year for something that has very minimal gain, short of potentially a slight difference in strength. And to me, it just doesn't really seem smart or feasible as a Kickstarter creator and also as a business to do that kind of thing. Also, on the topic of materials, I originally wanted to use ABS, which is in that little USPS box over here. And I tried with polypropylene, which is a more less viscous material? I don't know. It flows better. And it has a lower melting point, which means that it's easier to pull and to shoot inside of a plastic mold. Unfortunately, we were getting some success with that, but we weren't getting that much success. So when I eventually switched over to ABS, it was pointless. Effectively, what would happen is we would try to push the ABS down the mold, and by the time it would get into the mold itself, how do I word this? The amount of pressure being pushed on both sides of the mold because of how thick ABS is in comparison to polypropylene meant that we weren't getting enough clamping force and everything was just kind of forcing itself out. And then eventually, because of the properties of ABS, it would just cool before we would even get anything inside of a part. It would basically stop right at the gates. And if you were watching me on stream, you kind of saw this happen. And it was honestly kind of depressing. And it's something where if I felt like I had the extra time and the equipment, it's most likely doable. And there are a lot of things that I've learned along the way that I find invaluable. But again, it's just not feasible. It's not. It doesn't feel right to me to delay something for the possibility of what may happen for what I feel is a very low return on investment. So that kind of brings us back to FDM. I thought that if we were going to do an FDM-based part, I wanted to make it the best possible version of this part that we can get, which means that I wanted to have several colors. I wanted it to be customizable. I wanted to mitigate layer lines as much as absolutely possible. And when you look at this, I want this to look and feel as much like one clean, solid part as it possibly can. And I feel like I've succeeded. Whoa, good catch. I feel like I've succeeded at that for the most part. And I wanted to make this known that I tried my best. Admittedly, I failed, and that's just kind of how things go. But I'm not going to shy any of this information away from you all, and I'm not going to fault anybody for wanting a different product, something that they had in mind at the start of this project. So again, to anybody who was hoping for an injection molded part, don't hold your breath, because at this point it's not happening. And again, please contact me or anybody else on the team if you feel like you no longer want to be a part of this, and that's completely understandable. However, for everyone that is still sticking around, we're playing with a lot of parts, we're playing with a lot of colors. My goal is to have a bare minimum of 20 colors for you guys to choose a main color and an accent color from, so that way you can have a combination of whatever you want. There could potentially be more. I'm currently experimenting with other filaments and stuff kind of in the background here as things go. So that's over here. So there's currently a couple of tests going on in the background as I kind of work on everything and try to finalize the rest of these settings to make this as smooth as a production run as we can possibly get it. On the note of production runs, I do unfortunately have to say that we are running a little bit behind schedule as well, partially because of the injection molding experiments that we've done, but also for the upgrade memory itself. We've had issues with the supply chain because of the global chip shortage. So we're hoping to get things out by December. That way we can try to have everything done before the end of the year, and then everything would be shipped out and people would get their things by the holidays. Unfortunately, it's not entirely up to us, and we're kind of just at the mercy of the logistics gods. We're gonna keep updated with, or we're gonna keep you guys updated with everything that we find along the way. And yeah, hopefully we can try to get things out as soon as possible, but I'm just going to say now, expect delays. Officially, this is me stating that there is going to be a delay by about a month. So if you're expecting it this month, and if you're one of the main 200 backers, expect it in December, and if you're one of the late birds, expect it in January. If we get them out earlier, we get them out earlier. We'll let you guys know, but that's just kind of where we are right now. As far as final updates go, since we're talking about colors, I am going to submit a color survey to everybody who has backed this project. Keep in mind that this will not be the final survey. This is more of me kind of gauging interest to see which colors are popular, which colors are kind of like niche, and which colors don't need to be picked up at all. Just to kind of gauge where everybody feels and to see if there's any options that I've missed that maybe people are very excited for. And after I gather that info, shortly after, there will be a final survey in which you guys can see the real colors and not just product links to various websites or whatever, but real colors of things that I've printed so that you can see what the actual thing will look like and then base a decision off of that. So that'll be very soon. And I think with that, that's kind of everything going on with the Vital Pet as of now. Again, if you guys don't follow me on Twitch, or if that's maybe not your thing, I stream on Twitch all the time now. I'm there usually like 2 to 4 times a week, and I'm just streaming this whole process, everything I'm doing, whether it be some of the computer work or 3D printing, logistics, shipping, post-processing, burning or exploding things. I do it all there. And the atmosphere there is also pretty different compared to what my YouTube personality may be. At least that's what a lot of people have been telling me on Twitch. Perhaps I'll upload a clip or something one day of like kind of what our streams are normally like. There's a lot of distractions and a lot of story time. But yeah, if you guys are curious on what's kind of happening in the background as I'm working on things in real time, definitely check out my Twitch. That's kind of where most things are happening there. And then on the note of Twitch and websites and stuff, I do want to talk about the next thing, which is my website. So a lot of you guys have been asking about updates for the Vital Watch. When are these things going to go back in stock? What about the Vital Pet? What about your DIM cases and all these other things that people have been, I don't want to say bugging, but bugging me about. And there isn't really one good place for me to just dump all of my information. I try my best to get on social media as much as I can to kind of engage with you guys, but I've got a lot of things going on in the background, and it would just be a lot easier if there was one nice consolidated place to have everything. So we do, and that's going to be my website. So actually, let me switch over here. There we go. So this is my website. It's veek.design. The link will be in the description. Officially, again, I am Veek Designs, and there is a link to the Kickstarter itself. There's a little description about myself too with my little signature. I'm very happy about that. But over here are 2 designs. So we've got the Vital Watch and the Vital Pet. The Vital Watch specifically has a lot of information kind of similar to what you can see on Etsy, except it's way more neatly laid out this time, which is great. And there's also the video installation guide that's embedded, and then you've got a couple of options here to choose from. And then same thing kind of goes for the Vital Pet. There's a little bit more on that. More importantly though, there is a newsletter section in which you can subscribe to this and you will be notified whenever there's a major change going on in the wild world of Veek. So that means that if there is a Vital Watch update or a restock, you'll be notified on that. If there is a Vital Pet major update that you guys need to know about, or a new product, or a promotion or something like that I have going on, I'm going to notify everybody who is on this newsletter. So that means that everybody who has been asking me about, oh, hey, when is X, Y, or Z going to go back in stock, or where can I find more info about this? You can direct people to the website now, and you can just get notified on this newsletter. So when something does come up, you'll just be notified here if you're subscribed. I'll try my best not to spam everybody about things. And at some point, if I can get it figured out as well, I'll have like specific notifications just for products. So that way, if you only want an email about when a product is in stock, well, I guess you could unsubscribe. But, you know, that too. If you just want like a product email, you can get a product email. And if you want to be on part of the mailing list, for now, this is going to be the thing to go to. Also, I will occasionally do blog posts. If you guys have heard me on Twitter and on Discord, I don't like writing blog posts or really any kind of updates. My Kickstarter updates, to me, I take a lot of pride in because I put a lot of thought into them, but also I keep them descriptive enough where engaged readers will be interested and there's like content there that's meaningful, but also brief enough where I'm not sweating about writing a 500-word essay or something crazy. So if there's something important that I feel like I need to say, I'll probably have a blog post here. A couple of other things. You can check out my Twitch live on here. So if you're ever just randomly checking out my website, if I'm live, you'll see me here. And then, you know, my Twitter. There's a couple of other things as well that I do want to go over. Namely, there is an FAQ. It's primarily with just the Vital Watch, and there's a couple of other things going on. This is still kind of like a work in progress, so you may see things added in as you go. And there's also a contact form. So that means if you guys want to message me directly, whether it be a business inquiry or like a commission or something like that, feel free to contact me here. There's also links to my YouTube, my Twitter, my Etsy, and all that other stuff. So that's going to be kind of like that's not what I wanted. That's going to be like the go-to place to find all information in regards to the things that I'm working on. Which brings me to my next and final point, and to me probably the most exciting thing. I'm officially a business. So Veek Designs is a legal entity now, and I am, I've decided to kind of just go full force with this. The feedback that I've gotten overall from everybody has been overwhelmingly positive and encouraging, which has been fantastic. And it's been working well enough that I can start doing this for a living, which is great. I've actually started going part-time on my day job so that I can focus on these other projects that I'm working on, and I just figured like this would be the best way to do it. Now, that does mean that because I am still just a guy online selling plastic, but because I am now legally a guy online selling plastic, there are a couple of changes that do have to be made, and I do want to talk about them. So the first thing that I absolutely have to talk about is in regards to copyright. I'm very sensitive to copyright, kind of in general, but I didn't care as much when I was just a private sole proprietor. But now I am very conscious of it, especially given some recent actions taken within the Digimon community. I want to make sure to make this absolutely clear that from here on out, I'm not going to be taking anything that is copywritten. Any copyrighted materials, I'm just not going to touch. Which means that custom logos for Vital Watches, not happening anymore unless you can absolutely prove to me that this is 100% purely custom, that you made it and it doesn't exist anywhere else. At that point, you'll have to contact me privately and we'll have to do like some kind of private sale, because I no longer am offering custom logos on my website or on Etsy or any of that, period. It's just not worth the risk anymore. Especially just given the kind of climate that we're in right now. Second thing, because a lot of you guys are probably wondering, well, okay, what about your Kizu pet? Because that was inspired by a Digimon IP. That is going to be entirely discontinued. I'm no longer messing with it. I'm not touching it. At some point, once things kind of cool off with this Vital Pet project, I am going to be revisiting that case and making my own custom case that will work on both pendulums and like brick style devices. But for now, I'm just axing it. It's no longer going to be a thing. So that's that. So I'm sorry for whoever was interested in that. But one day, especially, we'll probably do it on stream too, but we'll design everything kind of like from scratch on stream, and I think it'll be a good time. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. For other things as well, I do, again, just want to make it absolutely clear that we're not touching copyright. It's not worth the trouble. And before anybody with, whatever Reddit law degree that you guys have come to me and say like, hey, so-and-so said this, or I heard whatever. I have personal friends and family who are legitimate lawyers in commercial and business fields, and I've consulted with them. I've had a long sit-down conversation about Creative Commons, about copyright. It's just not worth the trouble. I'm not going through it, and I'm not budging on that stance, so I do apologize. A couple of other like small business things that are happening. As far as like my Etsy shop goes, my Etsy shop is still going to be there, except there's going to be a couple of small changes. I'm going to offer the products that I usually do, which in this case is really just a Vital Watch. But it's going to be in limited quantities on Etsy, and then other quantities on my official website as well. One of the nice things about having my website is that I now have direct control over shipping, which means that international buyers can now choose which method of shipping that they want to pay for, and then they have legitimate tracking so that they can see where their package is, because for whatever reason, Etsy doesn't want you to do that if you don't live in the United States. I've had so many problems with Etsy outside of the US, I just no longer want to deal with it anymore. So for all of my non-US customers, my Etsy site is basically not going to be applicable to you anymore. I'm not going to have any stock available outside of the US on Etsy, just because of the issues that I've had with shipping in the past, whether it be shipping taking way too freaking long, packages getting lost, packages getting destroyed. The biggest issue by far is people not knowing where their package is until it's literally in their home country, which means that they'll have anywhere from 2 days to 8 weeks of hearing nothing, and there's nothing that either of us can do, and it's frustrating. So we're just not going to have that anymore. While we're on the topic of Vital Watches as well, I do also plan on adding new colors to Vital Watches, since we can't really do custom logos anymore. I want to make sure that people can still have a way to customize everything. And also keep in mind, I do have my STLs for the watch face. So if you want to print your own watch face on your own Vital Watch, you can absolutely do that. A lot of people have been using custom decals as well to just put like a vinyl sticker or something on the top. You can do so many things to customize this thing. But the least that I can do to kind of apologize for that is to offer more colors. So there will be a primary and a secondary color, similar to how we're doing the Vital Pet, coming very soon. On that note as well, kind of just everywhere now, more Vital Watches will be in stock very, very shortly. I'm waiting for my business debit card to come in the mail so that I can tie everything to the business. And once I get that, then everything will officially go live, and we'll have a couple more restocks. You can subscribe to my mailing list, and you will be notified when they go live. Because again, there is separate stock on Etsy, and there's separate stock on my website. I do advise you guys to check out both of them if you can. I'll probably have a link to like the Etsy shop to see like if something is available. For international customers, you definitely want to stick to the website. So kind of just keep that in mind. Yeah, I think that's like kind of the main thing. I just wanted to. This is a lot. The last month has been a roller coaster for me, in a, I would say, a pretty good way. But as much as it does pain me that I wasn't able to get injection molding working, I can confidently say that I did put my all into trying my best and to get everything going. And for some people, my all isn't necessarily good enough because I didn't, achieve the thing. But just the feedback of hearing everybody collaboratively work with me along the way, and for everyone to kind of want to see me succeed, and for this business to actually become a thing. And I'm very excited for this to be here in this position. But I literally cannot be here without thanking you guys, because this whole thing is made possible because of you all. And it's a legitimate dream come true. And it's weird because it's just the start. And people always say that the best parts about Starting a business is starting the business, and from there, it's going to be a turbulent ride. But I've got a lot of things kind of planned for the future. Some of them Digimon related, some of them not Digimon related. So expect to see all kinds of things. You might see Digimon, you might see card game stuff, you might see jewelry one day. You could see electronics. Yeah, it's going to be just a bit of everything that I find really cool. And yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone who has supported me along the way. People have been asking me as well, since like I'm doing this like professionally and I'm kind of taking the plunge, if there was a way to have like a Patreon or something to gain access to like files, or to gain access to some of the things that I'm working on, or maybe to have like more influence on some of the things that I will work on in the future, or for like custom commissions and stuff like that. And I'm open to it. I don't know. It was weird when I was just like, I mean, I'm still a private entity, but I was weird when I was just like I'm still some dude making plastic. I always say that, but like, before this was a legal thing, I always thought like, whatever. I don't know if I want to do that, but I don't know. Maybe now I'm a little more open to it, as things kind of progress, but I don't know. Still kind of weird to me. I do want to also point out though that if people are interested in doing like commissions or custom work or things like that, feel free to hit me up now, because I'm kind of just a freelancer doing my own thing now, and it's been really fun to kind of try new stuff, and I've got a wide range of tools that are slowly developing in this little shop, so I'm excited. I think I'm definitely hitting the point where I'm rambling though, so thank you again for everybody who is sticking with me throughout this crazy ride. I cannot stress enough how happy I am that I get to do this for people, and yeah, feel free to comment anything, positive, negative. Well, I don't know. If you're going to say something negative, you better make it fast before YouTube gets rid of that dislike button. But yeah, I'd like to hear everybody's thoughts about anything. It could be about the Vital Pet. It could be about starting a business. It could be about Digimon. It could be about plastic. Whatever you guys want. Thank you so much again. I will see you all very soon. I'll try to have more frequent updates, and I'll try to see if I can find a good clip from Twitch too. Anyways, I'll talk to you all later. Have a good, what is today? Thursday. Have a good Thursday, or rest of your day whenever you're watching this. Peace out.